how quickly we forget combinations that work, right? So often we pass over on a set of GT40 P heads or GT43 bar or the old X heads, the aluminum heads. How quickly we just dismiss that, right? We think, oh man, you know, there's better heads out there now, you know. There's Dart heads, there's Trick Flow, there's Elderbrock. But back in the day, we still had combinations that were making serious horsepower. And even myself, you know, being so intimately involved with, you know, the Foxbody Mustang and knowing all the ins and outs and seeing everything and hearing it and being around it. Even after all that, I forget just how quick these cars were back in the day and just how important they were. So, you know, the Hellcat came along and really, in a sense, kind of changed the game. Now, the first game changer, in my personal opinion, was the 03 Cobra. Now, you could go back and say it was a Supra or whatever, but for most people to get their hands on, it was going to be the 03 Cobra. And that's when the Foxbody started to lose a lot of that mystique, right? Because they were one of the cars running the streets back in the day. You know, you had turbo Mustangs way back. Like, this is not anything new. We had turbo Foxbody Mustangs, or 5.0s as we used to call them back in the day, but now that title is shared with the new cars. But back in the day, the turbo 5.0s used to run around, supercharged, nitrous, heads, cam intake, all that stuff. And they were freaking fast. And I just think we forget just how fast and deadly those combinations were. So I would like to essentially relive a little bit of that, right? So I got to thinking. I'm like, you know what? Those are really cool combinations, and they're really no different nowadays. Yes, you have some better head options. That's understandable. That's cool. But you could make up for that back in the day with more boost anyway, right? So I figured, well, with the advancements that we have today, with better camshafts, better heads, better components, it just would take less boost to do what I want to do. So that's the thought, right? So I want to bring back some of those deadly, wicked little combinations that used to run the streets back in the day, and I want to prove that they're still deadly to this day. Now, am I saying that you can go out with a 400 royal horsepower car and outrun everything on the road? Absolutely not. You're not going to do that these days. But how many of you, and how many of the other people, I should say it this way, but how many of those guys out there right now in the world have really ridden in a 700 horsepower car? I mean, sure, a few have. I'm not a hater of all brands except for, you know, Ford and of Mustangs. I like other cars as well. But the thing is now that everybody wants to snicker, you know, at these cars, and they think, oh man, yeah, sure, you know, with a lot of boost, they can be kind of fast, but that's nothing now. Well, that's not true. That's absolutely not true. There are tons of fast cars out there on the streets today that are still running basic combos. The thing that surprises me the most, if I'm being honest with you guys, is how these combos still stack up today. Now, Andrew, my stepson, as you all know, he has a carbureted stock bottom end Foxbody. This car's got a B cam in it. It's got GT43 bar heads, carburetor and intake. It's got rubber line going from a Holly Blue pump up to, like, I mean, it's not anything extravagant by any means, but it does have a nice nitrous setup on it, and it's been tuned correctly. That car will surprise you. That car is freaking fast. You know, can you go out and outrun one of those new Tesla Plaids with it? No, you're not going to do that. There's not many cars out there in the world that will do that right now. So you have to live in a space that you're comfortable in. Stay in your own lane, if you will. And I'm perfectly fine staying in the Foxbody lane. Now, obviously, you can build a Foxbody to outrun pretty much anything. You can build a Camaro to pretty much outrun anything. That's not my point here. My point here is we get so caught up in trying to outrun the cars that we see on the internet. Those cars don't live anywhere near you most of the time. You're not going to see the majority of these cars. And so what? There has always been and will always be faster cars than what you have. But this is what it comes down to, in my opinion. It comes down to a combination that works. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I mentioned it in my live stream earlier. I probably would not have built the Calypso the way that I built it. We went, some would say to the extreme, other people would laugh at that. For me, being a budget guy, that car's a little extreme for what I would normally do. And let me explain to you. I like the fact in this red car of knowing that if I blow the motor up in it, I literally can go to the junkyard, pick one up for $500, or either grab one out of an old Explorer like we did with my buddy Joe Nate, and throw it in a car and keep going, right? The issue comes in with a car like that, with an aftermarket block and expensive parts. When you break that, it's hard to replicate that. I can't go back in my pocket and pull the money out that it took to build that motor, even with a good friend of mine giving me the rotating assembly to go in this thing. Like, that was given to me. A good friend of mine, Justin, hooked us up on the channel and gave us that, and I still have so much money in this thing that I don't even know that I would bother to put an aftermarket block back in that car. So what do I mean by all this? Where is this going? I want you guys to think about what it is that you're doing with your car. Like, what are you actually trying to achieve? Are you trying to outrun the world? Are you trying to be on YouTube or Instagram or social media and prove that you have the baddest car? You're pretty much not going to do that. I mean, yeah, it's probably faster than some cars, and it may look better than some cars, but there's always something out there that's faster, prettier, nicer, whatever. Enjoy your car for what it is. All right, and this is a huge thing for me, right? I have been in cars that don't make near the horsepower of the Calypso, and it doesn't even make that much power right now. We don't even know what it makes. It makes somewhere in the 4s probably right now, something like that. Okay, but I've been in cars that make, 260, 270, 280, somewhere in there to the wheels, with the right gears, the right suspension, the right setup. They are a blast to drive, because sometimes it's more about getting in your car and just enjoying the ride, right? Having a little bit of power that'll sit you back in the seat. Maybe being able to spin through first, second, third gear, or chirp third, whatever the case may be. Sometimes that's more what it's about than beating on your chest and trying to go out and brag about this and brag about that. Because, look, horsepower is awesome. Horsepower feels great. That pull that you get when it sets you back in the seat, it's awesome. But it's very expensive, and there's more to it than just horsepower. The green car it's a fast car. I mean, it is. It's not the fastest thing out there, but it is a fast car. And I enjoy driving it. But, and there's a caveat to this, but it's aggravating. It's more aggravating to drive, and you're constantly worrying in the back of your head about, man, I hope nothing breaks. I hope this thing doesn't sling a rod because, oh my God, at the money, right? When I'm in this car, I just go beat on it. I don't care. I care. Nobody wants to blow the motor up. Like I said, I can go pull an engine out of something else, slap it in here. Hell, we've got old stock blocks sitting over there that we literally could throw back in it if we needed to. There's also a level of respect that you need to have for a high horsepower car. Now, this is something that we don't cover enough. I feel like, just in general, these cars are dangerous when you get up in the horsepower. So you're talking about a 3,000 pound car with a car that has no traction control, no stability, no nothing. It's just raw input. It's like strapping a GSX R1000 engine to a go-kart. That's freaking scary, right? Well, think of it that way with these cars. I hate where we're at right now in the world, especially with cars. It's like, if it's not 600-700 horsepower, it's not shit. And you're so wrong with that. Now, sure, if you've got a 4,200 pound car, 500 horsepower may not feel like a whole lot. It's still going to be pretty fast, but it may not feel like a whole lot. And it may not feel like a lot to you because of the fact that you can just get in one of these cars now with the automatic and you can just lay into it. They have a different feel to them, right? They're not going to scare the shit out of you like one of these cars will. Or any older car for that matter. I don't care what it is. Guys, if I see an older car coming down the road that I know somebody had to put the time in because this thing did not stay this way its whole life. If I see one of these cars coming down the road, dude's got his arm hanging out, just chilling. It's just a different look, a different feel. When I see that, I'm like, man, that's cool as shit. Like, it makes me happy. It puts a smile on my face to see cars like that, especially cars like this, you know, like the 65 Fastback here, you know, like a 69 Camaro or something. I don't give a crap any of these older cars. They put a smile on your face and they make you feel nostalgic in a way, I guess you could say, and it just takes you back somewhere to either an older movie or just better times or whatever the case may be. These cars are getting to that point too. They really are at that point. If you put your freaking hard work and effort and money into one of these things and I know about it, I don't give a shit what it looks like. It's cool to me, man. It's cool. The fact that people are still taking the time to rebuild these things and fix them, even on super limited budgets. That's the best. That's the best. Somebody that doesn't really have maybe the tools or the money, and they're out there and they're working on this thing, and it's taken them maybe a couple of years, but they're still working on it and they're driving it. Guys, you got to give respect to that. And I'll say this in closing here because I'm just rambling tonight. You know, when you see a car like that, we can kind of tell, right, as car people. You roll up to the gas pump and you see this old Foxbody over there, and it's pretty rough. It's got a couple sanded spots and primer spots and things like that, and maybe a new set of wheels or something, and a hood that's white that they've not even got to yet, you know. When you see that, if you got time, go talk to this person. Get their story, because I think that's intriguing and that's inspiring, right? Because I love to hear it. How long you been working on the car? Man, I've been working on this thing for a couple of years now. You know, I put money in it as I can, this or that, or it was my dad's car and he passed it along to me, or whatever the case may be. There's always a cool story behind these cars, behind any old car. Because remember, guys, nobody just went to the car lot yesterday and bought one of these and it just rolled it out. If it's still on the road, somebody's had to maintain it. And there's a story behind each and every one of these things. I know this isn't a video that I typically do. I was actually going to come out and work on the car. I got stuff over here, and it's too late. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I stayed up and I watched the World Series, and I come outside and it's like, we're not going to work on anything tonight. Enjoy your car. Enjoy your build. Don't listen to people on the internet that try to tell you differently. If you want to paint it titty pink and you want to freaking put 26-inch wheels on it and you enjoy that, then do it. Do it and be passionate about it and share it with others, because I guarantee you, if you like it, somebody else out there in this world likes it as well. There's not one car that you can build, do, or something like that everybody's going to like. So no matter what you do to try to appeal to the masses, there's going to be one hater somewhere. Well, if there's one, there's 1,000, I can promise you. All right, guys, look, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. Love you, Foxbody. Enjoy it. Stay passionate. And as always, thanks for watching.